how to remove evil thoughts in our mind. Here I mentioned, so here explanations mentioned in the vitakka santana sutta, sanhita vitakka asubha bhavana. So according to this method, if the thought associated with the lobha arise in our mind, so we have to contemplate like that. So we have to contemplate anicca sinya in order to remove the thought associated with the lobha. So here, chandupa sanhita vitakka anicca sinya. Whenever such a thought arises in our mind, we have to contemplate the position of impermanence, anicca sinya. Anicca sinya. So here you can see the translation here, full note. So very interesting and very useful. So translation, full note. So full note number 27, no? Full note number 27, translation here. So maybe you have already received this handout in your hand. Huh? So, yeah. So here, so page number 110. So maybe page number can be different. So here translations. So full note number 27. Do you see? Full note number 27. So for the thoughts are connected with desire for living beings, the reflection of 32 parts of the body. So here, in order to remove, so the attachment to animate them. So in order to remove the attachment to animate them, we need to contemplate the impurity of the body, asubha bhavana. So this is the regarding the savinyana. For example, if we get attached to someone, so in order to reduce such a thought, we need to contemplate asubha bhavana. Asubha bhavana. So this method is given by the commentary. If a person gets attached to someone, then he needs to reduce and remove such a thought by contemplating the impurity of the body, asubha bhavana, in order to reduce and remove such a thinking. So this is the first method regarding savinyanaga votu. So regarding avinyanaga votu, the commentator mentioned here, so if a person gets attached to something, then he needs to contemplate the position of impermanence, anicca sinya. Anicca sinya. So he needs to change anicca sinya to anicca sinya. We can understand like that. So this is the first explanations related to the Chandupa Sanhita. So here Dosupa Sanhita Vitakka. So sometimes so the thought associated with the dosa arise in our mind at the time that we need to contemplate like that. Here, in order to remove the hatred connected with animate things, at the time that we need to cultivate loving kindness. Loving kindness. So loving kindness. So what about Dosupa Sanhita Vitakka and then Dhatu Manasikara? So in order to, so another method, in order to remove the hatred connected with inanimate things, avinyanaga votu. So at the time, so we need to contemplate the elements, dhatu. The elements dhatu. How many kinds of dhatu? 18. According to Abhidhamma, 18. Yeah? So according to, for the contemplation of the meditation, 5. Yeah? So Patavi, Abo, Tejo, Vayo, and Akasa. So when we study Maharahulo Vada Sutta, so do you remember 5 kinds of dhatu? So we have to contemplate, so in order to reduce and remove hatred in our mind, especially about the avinyanaga votu. We need to contemplate the contemplate dhatu manasikara, especially 5 kinds of dhatu. So dhatu manasikara. Yeah, a matter of the thought concerning hatred is like a fire. Actually, dosa is like the fire. So here I mention some example. So he makes not only himself but also others burn. So dosa is accompanied with envy, stinginess, and regret. So whenever dosa arise in our mind, his followers also can arise in our mind. So whenever dosa arise in a person, another mental factor can also arise in his mind. So Asa, Michariya, and Kokosa. So these are the group of the dosa. So we can understand like that. So here, so this one is also very interesting. So everything that becomes in dosa, so such an action usually end in shame. And in shame. That is why that we need to control and we need to reduce and remove the dosa. So another thinking, the mohuba sanhita vitakka, so the thought associated with the delusion. Whenever such a thinking arises in our mind, so we need to remove it like that. Panja dhamuba nesaya. So we cannot know everything in the world. There are many things that we do not know in the world at the time. So we need to remove our ignorance by using this method. First of all, whenever we know nothing about something, first of all, we need to approach which can know this subject or which can solve, what kind of person can solve this problem. It's me, Guru Samvasa. So we need to approach capable person to explain such a problem or such a subject. So Guru Samvasa. So we need to approach like that. So ignorance arises in our mind or we know nothing about something. So we need to, first of all, we need to approach. So good teacher. So we need to approach good teacher. It's me, Guru Samvasa. So the first condition. And then, so we need to learn or we need to teach the Dhamma in order to reduce and remove our ignorance. First of all, we need to approach a good teacher. And then we need to learn or we need to teach something from such a teacher. So that is the one condition in order to reduce and remove our ignorance. After that, Odeta Paripochana. So it means to us what has been taught and learned. So our knowledge or our problem, sometimes we need to ask some problem about our problem. So it means Odeta Paripochana. So in order to reduce and remove our ignorance. And then Kalena Dhamma Sawana. So in order to reduce and remove, we need to discuss the Dhamma at the proper time. So at the proper time. And then Thana Vinechaya. So we need to decide or judge what is right and what is wrong according to this discourse or according to that discourse, according to the idea or according to opinion given by this theater or that theater. So we have to decide what is right and what is wrong in order to reduce and remove our ignorance. That is why, so if a person wants to reduce and remove our ignorance, so we can apply these 5 conditions. First of all, we need to approach a good teacher. After that, we need to teach or we need to learn something important for our life from such a teacher. So after that, we need to ask. We need to ask what we do not understand. After that, we need to discuss some point at the proper time. In the end, we need to decide or we need to judge this one is correct or this one is wrong according to this idea or according to that discourse or this discourse. So these are the conditions in order to reduce and remove our ignorance. So here, so actually these explanations are given by the commentary of Vitakka Santana Sutta. Whenever evil thoughts, lobha, dosa, and moha arise in our mind, so we can reduce and remove those evil thoughts. So by using this method. So for the lobha, and then so regarding for the thought associated with lobha, Savinyanagavutu, so in order to reduce and remove so the attachment to animate things, so we need to contemplate Asubha Bhavana. So for the Avinyanagavutu, whenever lobha arises in our mind, so we need to contemplate so the possession of impermanence, anicca, sanya. So these two methods are related to lobha. So the thought associated with the lobha. And then dosupa sanhita, also two kinds of method mentioned by the Buddha. So in order to reduce and remove the hatred connected with animate things, so we need to cultivate metta, loving kindness. So about the avinyanaga vutu, the inanimate things, whenever dosa arise in our mind, we need to contemplate dhatu, kamathana. So here 5 kinds of dhatu elements. So and then the more upa sanhita vitakka. So whenever ignorance arises in our mind or whenever we face difficulties about our subject, we can use or we can apply. So these 5 conditions in order to reduce and remove our ignorance. First of all, we need to approach a good teacher who can solve our problem. After that, we need to teach or we need to learn something important for our life from such a teacher. After that, so we need to ask some questions what we do not understand about our problem or subject. And then, so we need to discuss in order to get the best idea, so based on the Dhamma at the proper times. In the end, we need to judge or we need to make a decision about what is right and what is wrong according to this discourse or that discourse. So these conditions are in order to reduce and remove our ignorance. So we can reduce and remove our ignorance by applying these 5 conditions. These 5 conditions. So these are explanations given by the commentary. Here, another one. So if the thought concerning delusion, so arise very often in our state of mind at the time. So whenever moha arises in our time very often, at the time overthinking can arise in our mind. So in this case, we need to understand the impact or danger of overthinking. So here I mentioned some points related to the impact of our overthinking. So here, overthinking is one of the main causes of unhappiness. So there are a lot of many causes which leads to unhappiness. Overthinking is one of them. Overthinking is also one of them. And then overthinking is the fact that creates problems that do not exist in our life before. So that is one of the disadvantages of overthinking. And then overthinking is the biggest cause of unhappiness. And then overthinking steals our happiness and our smiles. No? So when we overthink about something that we cannot smile, no? Our mind is very passive, not active. At the time that we cannot smile. In order to smile, we need to get a lot of energy. No? So overthinking, that is why overthinking can steal our happiness or our smile. And then, so overthinking can destroy or ruin our friendships and relationships between you and your friends. And then another one we can say, so overthinking leads to doubt. Sometimes overthinking leads to doubt. So between your friends and your other friends or friendships and relationships. In the end, we can say overthinking creates many problems we never had before. So overthinking can lead to unexpected problems in our daily life. So we can understand like that. These are some impacts of overthinking whenever moha, ignorance, delusion arise in our mind. So that is why that we need to reduce overthinking. So overthinking, in other words, we can say overthinking is a kind of mental disease. A kind of mental disease. So we can see the overthinking is a kind of mental disease. So whenever overthinking arises again and again in your mind, you cannot sleep very easily every night. Huh? So every night you will fight with your overthinking. At the time, you could not sleep very well every night. That is why overthinking is also a kind of mental disease. So do you know Azani? So singer. So maybe foreign students cannot know his name. So Azani, Yinli, you. I look all in Yai. Do you look you all in Yai? So overthinking, and then another one, so we can understand. So moha is accompanied by the shameless. So more a thought of a man who has the thought concerning delusion is like a yes man. Do you know yes man? And then chameleons. Do you know chameleon? Chameleon. Maybe my pronunciation is a little wrong. No, chameleon. So both in you. Chameleons. So chameleons. So if a person has great thought associated with moha, so his life is chameleon. His life is like chameleon. So here I mentioned here he cannot so decide what is right and what is wrong. He usually believes or trusts whatever he sees or whatever he hears. If he has his own knowledge and wisdom, so he's like a chameleon. So we can understand like that. So and then so here the last one. So this one I like it so much. This motto: trusting too much kills you. So I like it this much. That is why I use this photo on my Facebook profile. Trusting too much kills you. Trusting too much kills you. So that is why. So we need to understand, or we need to differentiate between what should be trusted and what should not be trusted. We need to develop, or we need to improve our thinking skills. We need to remove and reduce our ignorance. And then here, so moha is accompanied by shamelessness, ahirika, fearless, or doing, wrongdoing, around things, anodaba, and restlessness, odija. Whenever moha arises in our mind, another three major factors can arise in our mind: ahirika, anodaba, and odija. So and then if a person cannot decide what is right and what is wrong, so his life is like a ghost. So here I mentioned one of the Myanmar proverbs. So as a parenthesis here, just as a blind man is never afraid to go, so too, or in the same way, a man without knowledge and wisdom is never afraid to do evil deeds. He always dare to do everything. So if a person lacks knowledge and wisdom, he dare to do everything in his life. So there is nothing which he cannot do everything, or he dare not to do everything in his life. That is why that we need to reduce and remove the level of our ignorance. In other words, we can say, in order to be a real human being, we need to reduce and remove our ignorance. So that is also very interesting. And then I mentioned here another impact of ignorance or delusions, moha. So actually, so that idea is given by the Avaros. So here is statement is also very interesting and useful for us in order to understand the impact of ignorance or delusion. So, if ignorance arises in our mind, then that ignorance leads to fear. If we have ignorance, we cannot live peacefully. We will live fearfully every day. We will live with fear every day. That is why ignorance leads to fear. And then fear leads to hatred. Hatred leads to violence. So that is why we need to consider the impact of ignorance from different perspectives. In this case, equation is not So in this case, equation means to consider the impact of moha from different perspectives. So such in considering is called interdisciplinary approach. Do you know interdisciplinary approach? So we need to take interdisciplinary approach to ignorance. we need to consider the impact of ignorance from different perspectives. It is me, so interdisciplinary approach to ignorance. So these are some impact of ignorance. So if we have ignorance, so we can face such a condition. So first of all, ignorance leads to fear, fear leads to hatred, hatred leads to violence. That is why that we need to reduce and remove the level of ignorance in our mind. So these explanations are related to the first method mentioned in this vitakka santana sutta. So this is the first method. According to the first method, we can reduce and remove our evil thought by using replacing method. Please remember, the first method is replacing method. Replacing method. We can understand like that. So the Buddha mentioned here simile, paragraph number 3.2. So in order to understand so everything about the first method, especially replacing method, we can see the simile. So simile or the first method. What is the simile? Or so this first method. So here pack. So pack. So similes or pack. So we can understand. So by reading this simile, so we can understand the real purpose or the real definitions of this first method of removing evil thoughts. So here, when we replace the evil thought with good thoughts, at the time, those evil thoughts can disappear and eliminated in our mind. When those evil thoughts disappeared and they are eliminated in our mind, so we can concentrate our mind very quickly and easily. So this is the first method. So according to the first method, we need to understand whenever evil thoughts arise in our mind, we can replace or we can change those evil thoughts into good things, good thoughts, or we can understand like that. The first method is replacing method. So please remember, it is not so difficult. So and then let's go to the second method. What is the second method? So the second method means here, so the method of examining or exploring. So exploring the danger or disadvantages of evil thoughts. So if the first method here, so I mentioned here, if the first method is not effective for removing the evil thoughts, then we can use or we can apply the second method according to this vitakka santana sutta. So the Buddha said that, bhikkhus, if the first method is not effective for you, when removing evil thoughts, then you can use the second method. You can continue to apply the second method. What is the second method in this case? Here, the second method is exploring or examining the danger of evil thoughts. We need to find out what is the danger or what is the disadvantages of lobha, dosa, and moha in order to reduce and remove those evil thoughts. We need to find out which one? Danger of evil thoughts. The second method is the exploring or examining the danger of evil thoughts. So very interesting. The first method is a replacing method. So the second method is examining or exploring danger of evil thoughts. So very easy for us to remember. So here, how to examine or explore the disadvantages or danger of evil thoughts. So here we have to find out like that according to Mula Sutta. So here I mentioned some points. So according to original text, so the explanations are not included in the original text. So that is why I find out this explanation from some discourses here I mentioned. So evil thoughts we have to find out. So evil thoughts are unwholesome. Iti me vitakka akusala. So evil thoughts are blameworthy. So they are blameworthy. Iti me vitakka savijja. So evil thoughts bring sufferings, no happiness. They always lead to suffering, not happiness. That is why iti me vitakka dukkha vipaka. So these are the dangers of evil thoughts according to the Mula Sutta. So we can find out the like that. So the danger or evil thought according to Mula Sutta are wholesome and then blameworthy and leading to suffering. So we can understand like that. Leading to suffering, or another word we can say cause of suffering. So cause of suffering. Cause of suffering, blameworthy and unwholesome. Akusala Dhamma, blameworthy and then cause of suffering. So these are some of the danger of lobha, dosa and moha. So we can understand like that. By understanding the dangers of lobha, dosa and moha, we can reduce and remove those evil thoughts. So we can understand like that. And then here, another danger of those evil thoughts here, according to Karana Sutta. So that Sutta is mentioned in the Uddaka Pali. So evil thoughts lead to the state of being blind. The state of being blind. Whenever those evil thoughts arise in our mind is difficult to be pure. Difficult to become pure. So here, that is why evil thoughts lead to the state of being blind mindset. So blind mindset or evil mindset or evil attitude. So these evil thoughts usually produce evil attitude or evil mindset. So we can understand like that is the one of the danger of evil thoughts. And then another one, so karana and then ajakku karana. So evil thoughts leads to the eye of wisdom, panya sakhu. So panya sakhu or vision. So whenever evil thought arises in our mind, it is so difficult for us to differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. At the time, we can lack the eye of wisdom or vision. Wisdom or vision. So it means ajakku karana. That is also one of the danger of evil thoughts. And then another one, evil thought leads to ignorance. It is the same, the previous one. And then evil thoughts leads to the cessation of wisdom. So whenever evil thought arises in our mind, so wisdom cannot arise easily in our mind. So we can understand like that. And then another one, so penya nirodhika. Another one, evil thought leads to suffering. Vigata pakhika. The last one is the evil thoughts do not lead to the destruction or defilements. So evil thought cannot remove evil wholesome states or defilements, kilesa. They can produce the development of kilesa. So we can understand like that. It means anibbana samotanika. So these dangers are mentioned according to the Karana Sutta. So here I mentioned Andaramala Sutta. So according to the discourse, we can understand the danger or disadvantages of evil thoughts like this. So evil thoughts are blemish. Do you know blemish? Blemishes or impurities of our mind. In Pali, mala. Pali, mala. So good thinking can lead to purity of our mind. It is called vimala. So is there vimala here? Vimala. So vimala means lack of defilements, lack of unwholesome mental factors. So we can understand like that, mala and vimala. So evil thoughts are the opposites of the mind and data. And then the evil thoughts are the enemies of our mind. Evil thoughts are the killers of our mind and vitakka. And then the evil thoughts are opponents of our mind and pichati. So pichati means in this case vera yantu. So these dangers are according to the Andara Mala Sutta. So that Andara Mala Sutta can be seen in the Iti Uddaka Pali, the page number 252. So here I mentioned some simile of lobha, dosa and moha according to Dhammapara. Here there is no fire which is like great. Nati Araga Samo Agi. No? Nati Araga Samo Agi. And then there is no fault which is like a hated. Nati dosa samo kali. Is it right? Kali. Ignorance is the origins of crimes. So most of the crimes are happening around the world based on our ignorance. Our ignorance. So we can understand like that. So based on, so in this case we can make some conclusion based on Andramala Sutta like this. We can divide the blemish or impurity into two types. Here, opposite also into two types, animate also into two types, killer also into two types, opponent into two types like this. There are two types of blemishes in our body. So here, external blemish or internal blemish. Most of the people are cleaning the external blemish. Do you know external blemish? So have you taken a bath? So if not, some blemish can appear in your body. That is called external blemish. External blemish. So internal blemish is our mental factors or our consciousness or our mental attitude. Those are internal blemish. So in this case, based on this discourse, we can divide the blemish into two types, internal blemish and external blemish. So in order to make our skin very fresh, we apply some sunscreen, lotion, but it is very rare for us to use the meditation in order to clean our mind. That is why, so that is also one point to consider in order to reduce and remove evil thoughts in our minds. And then there are two types of opposite. Here, internal opposite and external opposite. So in this case, so internal opposite is very, very important for us in order to reduce and remove. And then internal enemy and external enemy. So which one is more dangerous for us in order to improve and in order to develop our personal growth and professional development? Internal enemy, and then the external killer or the external killer. So and then the internal opponent or external opponent. So these two. So here, briefly, we can say Bahida and Ijadiga. So internal themes and external themes. So according to Mechata Diga, Mechata Dela. Đâu là xỉa nó đập chân chim mẹ so mấy cha đã tiểu thế này nè mẹ. So among the above two pairs or each respective thing that we can make the question like that. Among these two types of pairs here, so which one is more important to lead and wholesome mental factors or evil state according to the teachings of the Buddha? And then here, so which one is more dangerous for a seeker or peace of mind? So internal enemy is more dangerous for the seeker of peace of mind, or external enemy is more dangerous for the seeker of the peace of mind. So we can consider, and then, so which one is a real obstacle to our personal and professional development? So we need to, I want you to think about this one. So we cannot avoid so every problem in our daily life. One way or another way, we have to face our problems in our daily life at the time. So which one is internal problem and which one is external problem? Especially internal problem is a real obstacle. So here to our personal and professional development. So we can understand like that. And then Agusala Mula Sutta also indicate the disadvantages of Lobha, Dosa and Moha. Here I mentioned some point when a person is overwhelmed by the thought of greed, hatred and delusion, he will do the following actions. So here he will kill all living beings whenever evil thoughts in our mind. Akusala Mula Sutta. So he will bind other people, and then he will make other people lose, and then he will blame or reproaching or dispraising others. He will banish others, and then he will make other people get into trouble, or he will give a lot of he will give other people a lot of problem or trouble. At the time, such a person is called problem maker. Do you know problem maker? Yeah? Problem maker. So that is the disadvantages or danger of unwholesome thoughts. So here, problem maker. So and then speak ill of other based on invalid factors. So very, very dangerous for us. So if evil thoughts are happening in our mind very often, sometimes we will speak ill of others. So here, invalid and reliable factors. So most of the people are tintok. No? So and then the danger of dosa and moha are also the same as the lobha. So we can understand like that. Actually, so these danger and disadvantages or evil thoughts are according to agusala mula sutta. So we can understand like that here. So in this case, based on this method, we can understand like that a fixed mindset and growth mindset. A fixed mindset refers to evil states and growth mindset refers to good thoughts. So we can understand like that. And then self-sabotage and self-sabotaging thought or mindset. Very useful for us in order to understand. When we understand the differences between fixed mindset and growth mindset, so we can easily reduce and remove evil thoughts in our mind. So here, so fixed mindset, if fixed mindset arises very often in our mind, growth mindset cannot arise easily in our mind. Without the arising of growth mindset, we cannot improve anything in our daily life. So these are generally the differences between fixed mindset and growth mindset. So okay, that's all for today. See you next week.